This tutorial walks you through the uses and understanding of Strong's Dictionary of Hebrew Words. In 1890, James Strong, a Methodist minister, published his exhaustive concordance that included Greek dictionary and a Hebrew dictionary. He numbered each Hebrew word and each Greek word, and the entry, if you were looking at the paper version, would look like what you see on the screen. The first number 8549 followed by a period is Strong's numbering of this Hebrew word. Following Strong's number are these elements. Number one, the Hebrew word is spelled in Hebrew letters, the lexical form of the word. Number two, the transliteration, that is the spelling of that Hebrew word in English letters. Number three, a pronunciation guide, tamim, which guided English users to know how to pronounce the Hebrew word. Number four, Strong's understanding of the etymology of this word, that is, what it's related to, what root word it's related to in Hebrew. Number five, a set of glosses, that is, simple English equivalents for the term. Entire, also integrity, truth. And number six, the colon and the em dash indicate the start of a list of words that the King James translators used to translate this Hebrew word. So without blemish, complete, full, perfect, sincerely, sincerity, sound, without spot, undefiled, upright, uprightly, and whole are all ways in which the King James translators translated this word. This is the most easily misunderstood and misused part of Strong's dictionary. English users don't know that the colon and the em dash are not indicating meanings of the word, but rather translation equivalents used by the King James. Strong's occurs in Logos search engine as a concise dictionary of the words in the Greek Testament and the Hebrew Bible. And the same features of Strong's original lexicon are present in the electronic version in Logos. It's also available on blueletterbible.com. If you'd like a PDF of the 1890 version, there's a link there that's accessible online. There are some important limitations to Strong's lexicon. In general, Strong gave prominence to etymology, that is, the roots from which words came, and to compound roots. However, while it's true that words have roots, those roots have very little or nothing to do with the meaning of the words that come from them in contexts in Scripture. And so this can lead to fallacies such as the etymological fallacy, where you're tempted to think that if a root meant X, then the words derived from that root must also mean X, which is not necessarily the case. Secondly, Strong's gives glosses, not definitions. Glosses are simple English equivalents of a original language word. And that means that you have to assume that your understanding of the English gloss, such as entire or integrity or truth, matches the meaning of the Hebrew word in context and matches the English translator's meaning of those words, which allows for a good deal of slippage and misunderstanding. Further, Strong's lacks context-specific meanings. So it does not tell you when tamim, for example, means entire, or when it means integrity, or when it means something else. And that tends to leave the user to choose between meanings without additional guidance. There are two features of Strong's Hebrew lexicon that are also problematic. That is, it does not distinguish homonyms, and it gives an inadequate list of senses. Let me explain that further. As you see on the top of the picture here, Strong's lists three meanings for the word gur in Hebrew: to turn aside from the road, to sojourn as a guest, or to shrink in fear, also to gather for hostility, as afraid. And then that seems like that one word has those three different, very separate meanings. If you look at other Hebrew lexicons, modern lexicons, they've come to realize that this is actually three different words that are spelled the same. Very much like in English, the word bank, the side of a river, and bank, the place that you put money, and are homonyms spelled the same, but they have different roots and different meanings. So you can see here with the Dictionary of Biblical Languages of Hebrew, there's three different homonyms. One that means to dwell as an alien, one that means to conspire, and another one that means to fear, be afraid, be terrified. That's an important limitation of Strong's. Number two is the way in which it handles senses. For example, the Hebrew word panim, which it indicates as plural in form but always having a singular meaning, it gives you two senses, the face and also, and then notes various ways the King James translates it. Compare that to the concise Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament that lists 15 different ways in which the word pane is used, or panim. Face, the features of the face, the visible side or surface, the front, formerly, before, against, and so on. So Strong's cannot be counted on listing all of the senses of Hebrew words. I hope that helps you understand what you're working with when you use Strong's Hebrew lexicon.